this is Ace back on another Gundam review. I know it's been absolutely ages and I do apologize. I've actually had this guy built and sitting on my table for what, about a week now, and I just haven't had the time to do this guy. And on top of that, I've been sick for the past like 3-4 days, so that's been a damper on things too. Anyway, so basically this guy is really cool. Honestly speaking, I wasn't expecting this to be this good. But to all the guys that said Hail Zayon to my unboxing video, I totally agree with you guys. This guy is pretty damn cool. This is my first Zaku kit. I have never really had a Zaku kit in any other shape or form or even size, and I'm happy I started with this one. It's the 2.0, so I know it's a little bit better than the 1.0. The construction itself was really cool, very different, and the overall looks and the final display and everything is actually very, very nice. It is a little bit smaller than what I was expecting it to be, but then it's okay, no problem. Now, in terms of the colors, this is a Char Zaku, so it is very red, and it's a very plain red. I mean, all the red pieces that you see everywhere, they're the same shade. There's no difference in the shade of red whatsoever. This is your normal yellow, and this is like a dark gray and a light gray. Now the thing is, this guy has a lot of inner skeleton detail. This is what I'm hoping to get out in the painting aspect of it, because you do actually get two different types of grays. See if you can see this over here. So if you can see here, the inner skeleton is a lighter gray, and then you've got the outer armor pieces, which is a darker gray. So it's the inner skeleton in this kit which actually has a lot of detail that we can use. And if you do the painting part properly, this guy can look really, really cool. Now, in terms of accessories, you do get quite a lot. You get this thing over here, which is the connection piece for the action base. You can connect it to the action base from here, and it'll just go on this side over here at the bottom, by the way. And apart from that, you get another little figure, standing one. You get a sitting one, which is in the cockpit. You get, now because this is the custom, Riddens custom, if you look at the V-fin, it's very much different. You're not going to get this in a lot of Zakus. But if you do want to make this thing look a little bit more like a normal Zaku, they do give you a normal V-fin aspect of it also. So that's pretty nice. And then in addition to that, you get a lot of stickers. Now, I haven't used any of them yet because I am going to be painting this guy. But then again, I mean, if you can see, most of the stickers here are completely red. There's not that much detail in there. And these are basically going to be, like, for example, for the elbow joints over here. And I'm sure you have one of these, which is going to be in the eyepiece. And the eyepiece is also very cool. And then you've got your standard rub transfer decals and your normal stickers. I will be using those, but after I painted this guy. Now, this thing, I've got to show you this thing. This thing is something that I didn't expect. I didn't know how it was going to work, but I thought it was fabulous. I was expecting you have to take this whole thing off, and then you'll have a switch when you can move the inner eyepiece. Now, I know there's no sticker, so it's hard to see, but basically the way it works is that when you move the head to the left or the right, the eyepiece itself will also move to the left or the right. If you can see that. Let me try moving the body and you'll be able to see that better. You see that? I thought that was a fantastic touch. I was not expecting that at all. I think that's really cool. It's just the fact that you don't have to open up his head to see the eye movement or move the eyepiece. That's pretty cool. In terms of weapons, you do get the axe, which is pretty cool. It's got a lot of nice detail in there. And you just have to bring it all out because this is literally one big solid piece. And it does attach on the side as well, so you can just plug it in over there. So that's not bad. In addition to that, you get the giant bazooka, which is absolutely huge. Now, all the weapons that you get are in one big chunk, as in, well, one big chunk in terms of they've got the exact same color. So there's no color differentiation, anything. You have to literally bring everything out yourselves. But this is pretty cool. I mean, this part itself moves. This part moves, and this part also moves. And one other thing, for the scope, you actually get a little bit of a cover. Sorry, for the scope, you actually get a little bit of a cover, so you can cover it up. I thought that was nifty. I thought that was pretty cool. You also get something called the Zaku bazooka, which is, again, it's nice. It's a different molding. You get the cover thing here, and it's smaller than the giant bazooka, obviously, and I like this one a little bit better, just simply because of the size. I mean, if you compare this to the Zaku, you can see that it is a little bit better in terms of size. The giant bazooka is just huge. It's bigger than the Zaku itself. So I kind of prefer this one over the other one, and again, I like the fact that you can close this up if you want to. And finally, you do get the machine gun. So this is very nice. And I like how this thing is stuck in over here. You can actually move it around along with this piece. You can get it into, like the hand pose and everything. This is not bad. I like this fact. And I'm sure if you do pay a lot of painting, you can get a lot of details out on this guy. So that's it for the accessories. It is quite a lot. I'm pretty happy. In terms of articulation, you get a lot of movement on this guy. This guy is a master grade kit, so I mean, if you didn't get good movement out of this guy, shame. The head itself, you saw the eye movements. The head itself does go 360. There we go. I just want to be a little bit careful when I'm doing this, simply because of the fact of these things. I mean, these guys just, these guys, and these guys are a little bit loose, so they do come off. Now, so this is why I just try to be careful whenever I'm moving this guy. One thing you do want to be careful of is not to move this too much outside, because the thing is, it is on some kind of a mechanism, so if you do move it too much to the outside, the eyepiece is constantly going to be on this side or this side, depending on which side you've turned it. So what if you go 360 to the right, make sure you go 360 to the left, so the eyepiece comes back into the center again. In terms of waist, you don't get too much actually, and there's just simply because it could go 360, but the waist pieces do go up against the side skirts and the front pieces here, so you're not going to get too much. I'll probably say that much. The shoulder pieces on both sides are able to come out, and then you can swivel, play around with them, put them in any way you want, so that's not an issue whatsoever. You can rotate around the shoulders 360, and it does go about 90 degrees high that far. Not too much. What else? Alright. The legs were probably the most disappointing part in terms of articulation for me. And that's mainly because of this big chunk piece over here. If you remove this, it will be able to go a lot more, possibly even 180 degrees. At the moment, it doesn't even reach 90 degrees. So this is going to cause a little bit of issues, especially if you want to keep him up this way. But this is the biggest problem in terms of articulation for me. The hands could move, no problem. They can wiggle. The feet can go up and down. And they can turn just a little bit, just to give you enough movement. And this is also nice. It's kind of split, so your toes section or the front half of the foot can go up. So you can get some decent posing. I think they probably did this to counter effect this, to give you a little bit more posability on this guy. The side skirts also have an interesting feature, but they're very loose. Now, if you look on the inside, they're on a little bit of a pivot. It's not really showing. And what this does is this allows you to move the side skirt off to the side. Okay, it's come out. But you can see over there and over here, this part moves. So once you plug this in, which is loose, so you have to be a little bit careful, you can actually move it so that this whole side piece goes off to the back like that, which is pretty cool. I thought that was a nice touch. Good option for moving things around. Okay. Apart from that, if you don't count this, the side skirts do go up a little bit, which give you about this much movement on the outside on the side as well. So, overall, it's not bad. The articulation is pretty good for a Zaku, let's put it that way. You just have to be a little bit careful of the falling parts and the moving parts. This thing is probably one of the most annoying things. It's just best to glue it in. You've got a little piece over here that you can move in and out depending on for the action stand, you know what I mean? And it just falls out all the time. So it's better to just glue it in. I'm just going to put it to the side. Now, what else? You do have a couple of small moving parts which are very difficult to see on this side. You've got these little flaps which kind of go in with the thrusters, which is a very nice effect. I mean, if you look at this, if he's flying out, you've got 3 huge thrusters on the side and 1 main thruster on the foot. Beautiful. So you've got these little flaps which do move, and even on the backpack, you've got this stuff that moves, which is pretty cool. Now, the other cool thing is his, what do you call it? The cockpit. Now, it's a little bit different. You can actually move this piece up. just have to move it up. There we go. And you can see the cockpit on the inside there. Now the way you move the cockpit, believe it or not, is you take this out and you can see a little lever on this side here. And the way this works is if I take this out, so now you can see it's dark in there, where you can see a little bit of the movement. That's literally the cockpit moving in left and right. So that's a nice touch. And it's the first that I've seen. You know, this Zaku kit actually had a lot of firsts I haven't seen or done in a lot of different model kits. So I'm pretty happy with this one. Okay, now in terms of size, this kit actually is smaller than what I had expected it to be. I believe it's probably not an 18 meters, it's probably a 15 meters. I couldn't read it on the box because it's very much in Japanese, so I couldn't figure it out, but let me show you what I mean. Now, this is the Zaku kit on its full size, alright? Here he is next to the Hyakushiki, which is a good bit taller than it. Okay, fine, you might think because of the guns and all that, forget that. Here he is next to the RX-178, which is 18 meters. So this guy is 15 meters, has to be, because this guy is smaller than the 178 by quite a little bit. So I was just a little bit surprised. I didn't expect that to happen. I thought this guy was going to be at least the same size as an 18 meter, but he turned out to be shorter. Which is okay, you know, I mean, I don't really care about the size or anything like that, but it was just shorter. And here he is next to the Future Century Shining Gundam, which is a 144 kit. So, I mean, this is fine, this is okay in size, but, you know, I was just expecting it to be a little bit taller. It's okay, it's not. What else can I tell you about this guy? This guy's construction was very, very unique. There was a lot of pieces, a lot of different parts to it that I just did not expect. I love the fact that they've given you two different colors for the inner skeleton. That's going to help you out if you do end up painting this guy, so you can actually differentiate, and even your inner skeleton can look pretty good. I haven't painted this guy. I've got a couple of days off now, finally, so hopefully I'm going to get a little bit done on this guy in terms of painting, so I'm looking forward to that. Alright guys, this is Ace. I hope you've enjoyed the review. Sorry I've been away for so long. It's just, I mean, anyone who's working or has been in exam week knows what I'm going through, so I'm trying to be a little bit better than in terms of videos and putting things out, but just give me a little time in case I do get sucked away. Alright, this is Ace. I hope you've enjoyed the review. I will try and get the custom version of this guy out sometime soon as well. In the meantime, if you got any questions, let me know. See you guys.